Alright, the next step is to make the diffuser, the light diffuser. So this is what is at the heart of this explosion. This is a plastic, I think it's like a beer pong. It's not a real ping pong ball, but it's very close. It's just a cheap plastic one. And I'm going to cut this in half to make that section right there. Okay, so I'll go ahead and do that right now without cutting myself. So, once we get the LEDs mounted, this will go right on top like that and create the illumination at the middle of the explosion. Okay, so we're at the step where I'm going to start making the fiber optics spark portion. So how you do that, you take this 1/8 inch flexible PVC tube and you jam one of these small I think they're 3mm white LEDs, super bright white LEDs, and they can pick up like a pack of 100 for 99 cents on eBay. So I just slip that into the tube and then I'm going to cut some fiber optics to shove in there. Let's do that now. I have bundled, there's 4 fiber optics in here, so I'm going to count out 12. I'm cutting these to about, I don't know, 4 inches or so. That's 4, 8, 12. 4, 8, 12. Good. Stack those. And then using some real sticky glue here, this is outdoor adhesive, Stik'n seal. Really good for gluing these fiber optics. And then you just tuck these in here like so. Okay, kind of squish them around a little bit to make sure that glue just gets in there. And then the next step here is to kind of fan these out a bit, because what you want is sort of a erratic mix of directions, if you can see that. These ones are kind of fanned out in sort of one direction. You can make them all directions. Just vary it up so that it looks a little bit different from plume to plume. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside and let this dry for probably about 15 minutes. Let that glue set up so it's nice and firm. So the next step here is to take some of this small 1/4 inch copper tape, and we're soldering some tabs on the end of this. I'll do a couple here for you. Okay. Now I'm taking some of this magnet wire. This is very thin. Magnet wire is essential, so if you don't have some, you need to go out and get some of this. It's on eBay. Pretty much everything I get is from eBay. 30 gauge magnet wire. This is coated stuff, but it just makes for doing like hookup wires and things like that very easy. So go out and get some of this. A couple bucks for that. And the next step that I'm going to do here is simply solder these on. There. There's one. There's 2. Okay. Oop. So you just need 2 per explosion effect. And I'll go ahead and just add one here right now. Okay, this one just already peeled, and I'll show you how to put this on. So let's take that off. Dump the garbage. Okay. And this is a like a little Lilypad. They're called on eBay. You look them up, or you can find these on Amazon also. But they're designed to hold these types of batteries. So you've seen these 2032 CR 2032 batteries. Pick these up at any store, and these slip in just like this, and then it has a little on-off switch. Okay, so but I need to put some LEDs on the back side, and that's what I'm going to do right now. That's what this copper strip is for. And so I just line this up right over the top of this. Just like, oops, let's get that a little more centered. Just like that. And this side is going to go in my positive end. I'm going to solder that. Now, let's do this other guy. Okay. This one's going to point out the other end. And you want to leave about a 1/16 of an inch gap, something like that. When you lay this across, that'll become clear on the next step. All right. Okay, and this goes to the positive side. All right. So that's that step. Well, here I can go ahead and just solder these guys in here, and that'll be the last step. Oops. Oof, that's getting pretty hot. Well, okay. All right. Now I can clip off the excess here. All right, so the next step here I'll be doing is to solder on some LEDs on this end and this end, and let me get set up for that next step. So the next step here is to take these 1206 LEDs. I need 2 per, so let's cut a couple of these out. And you got to open these little puppies up. Very small, not really small. I've dealt with smaller, but these are what are going to, you're going to hook up to your copper strips. Okay, so they're very small, and we're going to be hooking those up on this side, one on either side. Before we do that step, what I need to do is, and I need to put down a couple of little little solder puddles here. So, this is kind of annoying. That's a little too big. One in the center. Okay. All right, can you see how that... So I have solder, 2 solders, 2 directly in the middle and 2 at the very edge. And it's going to be difficult to see, but these actually have a little triangular edge, and that indicates which way is negative. And I know negative is this way. So I put this at the very edge, and gotcha. Okay, so I was able to, let's see, how close can I get on this? There. Okay, and then let's just go ahead and got that. Got that. So at this point, I've gone ahead and solder these white LEDs on either side. This is a CR2032. I'm going to go ahead and put it in here and do a final test. Turn this puppy on. There we go. So we have now a base to our LED bomb. This is being the diffuser. Okay. Nice. Fiber optics, and I'm going to be attaching it to this battery holder. Additionally, I have this little plastic cap, and this is acrylic half-inch tube that I bought at a plastics store called Tap Plastics. I think they're a national chain, but there's other stores, craft stores or different places you can get acrylic tube, and I just trimmed this down to about 3/4 of an inch tall. And so what I'm going to be doing here is attaching this, and we'll do that right now actually. So I don't need this middle part, so I'm just going to kind of cut a square and hack this middle part out. Okay. Okay, so I've kind of cut the center out. I'm going to slip this on right now. That's the idea. We're going to keep that on there. It's going to be nice and tight. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and slip this through like that. And this side is negative here. This is positive. This short end is negative. So I'm going to branch that out like that and like that. And what I'm going to do here is solder this right in. So I had previously put those 2 puddles of solder in there. And now I can just, oops. Check to make sure I've got a good connection. Ah, yes. And I do. Brilliant. All right. Let's get that straightened up so it's sitting the right way, like that. Awesome. Now I'll just clip away what I don't need. Great. Okay, so right at the very peak of this circle, I'm going to cut a couple of X's in this so that I can slip it over. Okay, that should be enough. All right, just like that. Should be enough. We shall see. So just collect these fibers together, because you're just gonna sort of poke them through here, like that. All right. And there we go. Maybe not so far down. Okay, now the goal is to take that just the way it is and put some super glue, or not super glue, whatever this stuff is called, on here. Doesn't have to be pretty. There you go. Let's see, there we go. Okay, now if I take this and I flick that puppy on, lights off. Okay, the next step then is to take a piece of, or a little clump of stuffing, put that over, and we're pretty much done with this little project. So we'll put that last step on and then we'll call it done. Okay, so what I've done here is taken some Army Painter Gray, and I basically just sprayed the tops of these things. So I took some clumps of pillow stuffing, really, spray painted them gray. That's what it looks like. Set that aside. Okay, and I'm going to take my my internal piece here. Just fine. Okay, the next step is taking these fiber fiber optics here. They can kind of plume out a little bit like that. I get them started in here. Okay, and you're just basically going to start teasing them through the cloud, the smoke, to that point where they're starting to poke through. And then, before I get too far, let's get some glue around this, because that's what's going to keep this down. Okay, just kind of all around. Let's get that. Just press that nice and tight. All right, so I've got this plume kind of glued on there now. You just kind of have to massage it till you get something that looks like a natural explosion, right? You can start to rough it up, but let's do a test. We'll turn this puppy on. Get some of these glue hairs off of there. Click. All right. So this is looking pretty good for an explosion. The sparks are maybe a little bit big, so I can trim these back. Let's just kind of, random, maybe a few long ones. Okay, yeah, I don't know, maybe like another short one here. That looks weird. Yeah, play with it. Alright, the idea is that it's just supposed to be kind of random. Gives it a really nice glow effect. Let's do that one more time. Alright, that would be considered a small explosion. Here would be a nice big one. Okay. Alright, this one's got a nice little mushroom cloud action going on. This one may be just a hand grenade. So, yeah, pretty sweet. Okay, hope you enjoyed that.